Doctors, did you know there are 4 pitfalls you must avoid to be successful in practice and in life? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants and Chiro Health USA. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, your host, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Troy Fox. Troy, the 4 pitfalls that you have to avoid to be a huge success. So you and I banter this kind of stuff around all the time.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I hate pitfalls and I love barbecue. So we got to avoid those.
You are super bright today.
Yeah,
I got to get the volume right here. Okay. I think we're good, everybody.
I'm just
All
a
right.
bright individual.
You're glowing today. One of the first pitfalls, I think, is a lack of vision and goals. Can you imagine trying to drive through practice, trying to create success without having some kind of vision and some action steps and strategies and goals to go along with it?
No, and here's the thing, I've never done it that way. So I wouldn't even know how lost I would feel. But we've talked to people that have done that and still to this day continue. And they are so confused and lost because they really don't know where they're going. And sometimes that lack of vision is what I call short-sighted lack of vision as well. Sometimes your goals are set for too narrow of a time frame, and you're really looking at days or weeks or months, and you're not looking at year after year and year to date kind of things as well. So I think sometimes when we look at our goals and we set them, or we have a vision for the future, sometimes we're also short-sighted on our vision.
Yeah, we're short-sighted and we really don't know why we're in practice sometimes. Why are you there? And the answer is not, I'm here to adjust patients. You
Yeah.
are, but that's not really your vision. Your vision is about your purpose. Why do you do what you do? And where are you trying to take that? What does practice look like in 10, 15, 20 years, maybe longer if you just started in practice? Where is that vision taking you? Because without a vision, without something to set your sights on, you can't go anywhere. And if you don't have those goals, which are really, your goals are really just a list of things that you want, whether it's great lifestyle, health, a fantastic practice, a new car, whatever, you've got to have those goals so that you've got those stepping stones to make success happen.
And if you don't speak it, it's not going to happen. That's,
Right.
there's always somebody that a blind squirrel finds an acorn now and then.
Yep.
And a lot of times when we're not goal setting and we don't have a vision that's clear, we have one success and we think, okay, that's how I'm going to be successful just by blind chance. And quite frankly, blind squirrel finds an acorn now and then, but they don't find all the acorns. And so without a vision and without a forward plan, it's literally like walking around in your house in the dark. You know the layout, but it's still really easy to trip over that coffee table. It just doesn't make sense not to have a vision. I equate that in a lot of cases. We have a lot of patients that do what? They live for the weekend. Thank
Yep.
God it's Friday, right? And that's literally their cadence every week is Monday through Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Monday through Friday. Thank God it's Friday. They don't really have a long-term vision. They just go to work every day.
Yeah.
And they're an automaton that produces the same thing. We can become like that as chiropractors too. Monday through Friday, we're an automaton. We go in and give adjustments.
Yep.
And unfortunately, if you do that with your head down, you're going to lose sight of what's real or why you even did what you did. You guys have spent a lot of time and effort to get to where you are. Let's capitalize on that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you've got to really be watching what you're doing. And if you don't have that vision out there to help be the guiding light, the guiding post, then your practice is going to go down. And we see this all the time. And a
Yeah.
lot of doctors don't even realize their practice is going down. They're not managing their statistics. They're not paying attention to the numbers. They don't have any direction. There's no goals. There's no vision. Their staff just comes in every day and does tasks, and nobody's working towards a common goal or common denominator at all. And it's just come in free for all. Oh, it's Friday.
Yeah. It's insane. So
Yeah.
vision is number one. What's our number two? I can't wait to hear 2, 3, and 4 because that was a biggie right there.
That's a biggie, but
Yeah.
there's big years coming up. I just made
Okay.
up a word.
Big
Shouldn't have
years.
said- Big
I
years.
love it.
So before we do that, we're going to jump to a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back.
In today's economy, every dollar counts. Families are facing tough choices, having to reconsider what was once essential to them. But when it comes to healthcare, no one should have to compromise on their well-being because of financial constraints. That's where ChiroHealth USA steps in, the solution for your practice. We understand the financial pressures families are under, whether they're insured, on Medicare, or paying out of pocket for treatment. By offering discounts on care, you can ensure that your patients can still afford the treatment they need. At ChiroHealth USA, we're committed to making sure no family has to sacrifice their health due to financial hardship. We'll work with you to create a game plan that keeps your waiting room full and your practice thriving. And here's the best part. Offering affordable care not only benefits your patients, but also positively impacts your bottom line. So why wait? Join ChiroHealth USA today and join the ranks of the most successful practices. Because when you put your patients first, everyone wins.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast. Dr. Troy and I are talking about the 4 pitfalls you absolutely must avoid to be able to see huge success in life and in practice. And the first one was a lack of vision and goals. You have to avoid that. That's just, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And I just want to say one more thing about goals. Don't set your goals so far out and so big that they're not attainable. If you set a goal that in a year, I want to grow my practice by $1 million from where I'm at right now, that's probably pretty tough to achieve. And so I call those demoralizing goals, because as you get into the year, you're going to hit about April, May, and you're going to realize there's no way we're going to hit this. That goal was worthless. I'm not doing that again. And so be very careful how you set your goals. So the pitfall number 2 is poor time management.
Yeah.
Big one.
Yeah, that is big. And if you are in a busy practice, which we hope you are, and if you're not busy, we hope you're getting busier, but you have to manage your time because you're being pulled multiple different directions. One of my big pitfalls with time management, which thankfully my staff is really good about, and they know that I'm horrible at this, is double and triple booking myself. I tell people, oh yeah, I can do that. I have had a head hop around the corner and say, Doc, you realize that you have blah, blah, blah on that day. They literally are listening to me, and they will correct me mid-sentence before I make a commitment to somebody, because I have people that come in that maybe are with the chamber, or maybe they've got a big event that they're in charge of in the town that we're in. And they say, hey, Doc, can you do blah, blah, blah? Oh yeah, not a problem. And then realize that I'm double booking myself. So that's one thing with time management. But I think we get really befuddled when it comes to trying to get things done in our practice as well. I see this all the time where you get mired down. You've been in practice for 10 years, and the things that you were wanting to get done in year 1, you're still working on because you didn't have a vision and a goal. You didn't set any action steps to do it. And now you're managing your time poorly because you get to the end of every day and you're like, I'm tired. I'll do that next week.
Exactly. And so you've got to set priorities. You've got to, and I can tell everybody how I do it. I keep a list. I'm a list maker, and I have my list every day, and there's 2 columns, an A column and a B column. A column, got to get done today. B column, they move over to the A column when there's room. So I don't overload the A column, but there are things that have to get done every day. And I see people do this all the time. Everything on the list is an A priority. It's not. So you have to go through, and to properly use your time every day, you have to make sure that you're prioritizing things correctly. And here's another example. If you think you want to see 50 patient visits a day, for example, but you're only managing your time to be able to see 35, and then you're disappointed at the end of the day because you didn't hit 50, that's on you. So you've got to look at your capacity and your time management, how long you're taking to do things. And here's a great exercise. If you're not making what you want to make, I want you to right now, as long as you're not driving, right now, write down that number. What do you want to make a year? 100,000, 150,000, I don't care what it is. Then take your collection visit average and divide that number you wrote down by your collection visit average. That's how many patients you need to see in a year. Or if you did, this is how much I want to make a month. That's how many you need to see in a month. But sometimes there's a reality check there. Oh, that's 7 times the number of patients I'm seeing now. And so to be able to manage time, and I realize you can't really manage time, but to use time better, you've got to really think about how much time do I spend on everything I do? How much time am I spending on adjusting patients, talking to patients? How long is my exam? How long is my report of findings? How am I blocking my time every day so that I can maximize my potential? And that's really what proper use of time is all about, is maximizing your potential, maximizing the clock to maximize your potential.
And for a day to work as well as it should, you're gonna have to delegate some things. I see way too many of you docs that
Good.
try to be chief cook, bottle washer, and janitor all at the same time. Oh, I don't want my staff to have to clean that bathroom or whatever that might be. Listen, we're all together in this as a team. There's times that I'm tearing pieces of equipment apart, throwing pads back on, trying to get stuff done. There's also times that I may have staff running to go grab, hey, grab a cordless drill and get a couple of screws and put that paper towel holder up or whatever. They may
Right.
not even know how to do it, but I'm like, hey, it'll be a great learning experience. We can have fun with it, but delegate things. And there's other things that have to be delegated. Let's think of it this way. Docs, I see some of you that want to go adjust a patient, walk them over to therapy, put them on therapy, and then take them off of therapy. And you have people available that can do it,
Mhm.
but you don't trust them to do it. So either A, train people so you can delegate, or B, if they're already trained, start delegating some of the jobs that you do. Your patients will appreciate it as well, because you're going to have more time for what you do best, which is be a doctor, not
Yeah.
be a therapist.
Exactly. So you can parlay your time by doing what Troy just said, by training your staff, communicating with your staff, and making sure everybody's on the same page and working together. And you're right. There are times when you may have to take the trash out.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's being a team player. So we're
Mhm.
not talking about delegating everything or in times of necessity that you're not going to do some of those things. But if you're, in Troy's example, adjusting the patient, doing the therapy on them, and then walking them to the front desk to make the next appointment, come on, that's not proper use of your time. You could have
No.
adjusted 2 more people, and that maximizes your potential. So there are huge benefits in really making sure that you're managing your time.
For sure.
Okay, you ready for pitfall number 3?
Oh, I am. I am.
This is a big one. This is a huge one. Neglecting professional development for you and your staff.
Yeah, that's big. And we see that a lot,
Yeah.
which shocks me. There's the docs that just don't get their professional development done, and they get caught by the state, and they have to go back and do it and provide to the state. But beyond the required X number of hours in your state, you guys need to be doing professional development well above and beyond. And that's where consulting, coaching comes into play,
Mhm.
because we go into things that maybe aren't hours that you're going to get credit for, but they're invaluable to your practice.
Yeah. Part of professional development isn't just your CEUs.
Mm-mm.
It's headspace. It's
Yeah.
learning new things. It's understanding business better. It's understanding human psychology better and all those things, how to manage your staff better. You don't get CEU credits for that stuff.
Putting together a cohesive team. When you and your
Yeah.
staff get together and learn together, they get to know you and what's in this headspace. And they absolutely respect you so much more because they understand you and they get you and they get your passion. If you can portray that to your staff, that's where professional development comes together from a staff standpoint, as you guys become a tight unit.
Yeah. So here's a great exercise to do in a staff meeting to see how engaged your staff is. Ask them, what are the chiropractic techniques that I use in the office? If they know, that's great. But I can tell
Yeah.
you from experience, we've called around sometimes doctors' offices and your staff doesn't know.
I
So
don't know.
make-
Let me ask the doctor. Oh,
Exactly.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull
Oh,
you back
no.
in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one. Here's another one. What conditions do you treat? Or what conditions is chiropractic good for? And they may know a couple, but I
Yep.
bet you they don't know very many unless you've
Yeah.
done a really good job of professionally developing them. Do
Mhm.
they know what each other's job is? What is their job function? And this is a big one. And we already talked about this, but it rolls back into professional development. Do they know what your vision is for the clinic? And do they buy into it?
Yeah.
Are they that engaged that they buy into it? So just, those are fun things to do in your staff meetings, an eye opener.
If they don't know your vision, which I think I think that's the corner post or the cornerstone of everything that you do before you start teaching them, here's the conditions I treat: carpal tunnel, low back pain, neck pain, whatever. Before I get to that point, I want them to know why I'm there. What is my why, right?
Yeah.
You've got to know what that vision looks like. And what's your mission in life? My mission in life is to get people better and keep them better.
Yeah.
It's really simple, but my staff needs to know that that's what I want. My staff needs to know that my goal in life is not just to get people out of pain.
Exactly.
My staff knows that up front, day one, when they start working with me. I tell them day one, and then we'll usually, when we've got new staff members, we'll have a little round table discussion. And then I ask questions, and I ask them if they have questions of me, and they always do. No matter what they've gained over time, as their headspace increases, their questions get more technical.
Yep.
And they want a deeper knowledge. And that's how you know that you built a cohesive staff. The other day, my staff came to me and said, "Hey, doc, we'd like to talk to you about blah, blah, blah with decompression." Okay, we have an idea, blah, blah, blah. And I went, whoa, that's really cool. You guys have been thinking about this.
That's
and they
awesome.
came up with a solution to a problem that we had to do with a piece of equipment that actually broke. And they had a solution to a problem that worked. And not only did it work, my patients came back and said, "You know what? I like what we just did better."
That's
My
awesome.
staff did that. I was
That's
so
awesome.
proud. I was so proud of them. It was so awesome.
Here's the other thing that comes out of professional development. When you keep notching them up, all of a sudden they're bringing you patients.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, doc, Bill walked in today and he said his heels were hurting him. Could that be plantar fasciitis? I set him up for an exam so you can look at it. When your staff's doing that kind of stuff for you, man, all you got to do is show up and be the doctor.
Yeah.
It's great. And your practice grows and grows. So if you're out there thinking that professional development, you don't have time, it's not worth the money, staff's just going to leave anyway. First off, professional development is one of the things that makes them stay.
Yeah.
So it's worth the investment. Number two, a more highly engaged and trained staff is going to help you grow your practice because they're going to become your success partners. So it's well worth the time and the energy and the very little bit of money it costs you to do it.
That's a whole different podcast right there, staff development, because that is one of the most important things that you're going to do in your practice to
Huge.
make it skyrocket. So that's for another podcast, another time.
Another
for
podcast.
Sure.
So we
Yep.
got to take a quick word from our sponsor. We'll be right back, but we're talking about the 4 pitfalls that you absolutely have to avoid as a chiropractor to have a successful practice and a successful life. So we'll be right back.
Pat's Chiropractic Consultants, your partner in chiropractic success. We are dedicated with one-on-one guidance to bring you all your practice management needs. Let's supercharge your practice. Give us a call today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants and Chiro Health USA. Troy, we've talked about 3 of the pitfalls. We've talked about lack of vision and goals. We've talked about poor time management or poor use of your time and neglecting professional development. Here's number 4. I think these actually got put in order now that I think about it. Number 4 is ignoring work-life balance. Boom, mic drop.
Yep.
Huge. I see a major problem in our profession right now. I'm seeing a growing number of doctors burning themselves out. And it's right here. It's because they're ignoring that work-life balance. You can't just work. And I know EHR, electronic health records and all that has made our jobs a little bit more tedious. I get that. But docs, you got to turn the lights out and walk out the door sometimes too, in a way. And I'm not telling you to get behind on your notes, but you've got to find that work-life balance. And there are ways to create that. In fact, we're helping doctors do that all the time in just retooling their practices just a little bit in certain areas, in certain ways, so that they're not a slave to the practice.
And here's the crazy thing. I see some people that use that as a badge of honor. We have a potential client that actually had talked to us, and I started following what he was doing on Facebook, and I see this post that he's in his practice on Saturday evening at 10 o'clock treating a patient because, darn it, he's this awesome chiropractor in the town that he lives in. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's not the image that you really want to give.
It's
How did they get a hold of
admirable.
you on Saturday? It's
Right.
admirable, but how'd they get a hold of you on Saturday? And was this a condition that could have been treated on Friday? I see this often. And my own cousin, I'm going to tell you the story. My own cousin, horrible, horrible situation. He thought it was funny because he had a chiropractor in the town that he lived in, that he was able to go see this chiropractor. He owned his own business. He owned a business that he could go see this chiropractor whenever he wanted. What did he do? He thought it was really entertaining to basically get this chiropractor to give up his lunch hour, because that way, when he came to town to go grab his lunch, he got lunch, then he'd go get adjusted because it didn't cut into his day.
Do you want to give your cousin's phone number out over the air?
I should. Yeah. We should probably get some pieces of garden hose and beat him with them. But when I heard that, I thought, you know what? The problem is some of us are so desperate to put forth an image that we're a part of our community and we're wanted and needed and we're this great guy or gal that we're willing to do stuff like that. And I think you have to draw a line in the sand when it comes to that, because I think we get way overboard on that, and then you end up burning yourself out. Now, how can I tell you that? Because I speak from experience.
Mhm.
Those of you that know me have heard my burnout story and what happened to me.
Yeah.
It's called Just One More.
Yep.
And you know what? I was super successful. People couldn't understand why I got burnout and wanted to leave practice, because just one more. Even my staff was getting burnt out with me. They were so tired of me just one moreing everything. Hey, let's add another 15-minute slot to the end of the day. Just one more.
Yeah.
Let's start earlier in the morning. Just one more.
Yeah.
Next thing, we were seeing over 100 patient visits a day, and I was miserable.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I wanted to add more hours, more days, and maybe another satellite clinic. What is the matter with me?
Just one more. And there's no work-life balance to that.
None.
You know, I can tell you another story. A doctor, so his clinic hours were something like 8:30 to noon and 2 to 5. Okay. So
Reasonable. Yeah.
just go with that.
Yeah.
So he would show up to the clinic about half hour before they open, and he'd unlock the front door. Those patients started figuring that out. And so instead of opening at 8:30, he's now got patients starting at 8. So what does he do? I need that half hour before patients come. So he starts showing up at 7:30 and unlocks the front door.
Oh boy.
Now he starts seeing patients an hour before they're actually open. So what does he do? He starts coming in another half hour earlier and unlocks the front door. His theory was, if I'm at the clinic, I should have the door open. No, you have to have boundaries. You're showing up a half hour early because you got things to do before you open. So
Sweet.
don't unlock the door, and lock the door at night when it's time to be done.
Sweet. Dude's going to end up adjusting me at 3 a.m. before it's over.
That's exactly where he was headed.
And we laugh about this, but I really worry about you guys when your work-life balance is off, because I've been there, because I did it. Dr. Perusich, unfortunately, watched me go through this, and it was horrifying. Here I am, a very successful doctor with a very successful practice, and patients that were devastated when I left practice.
Yeah, you were in the abyss.
I wanted to chew my own leg off to get out of there.
Yeah.
And it's all because of work-life balance. I could have backed off a little bit. I could have changed what I did. I could have probably gone to more of a cash basis practice, because part of it was the burnout from insurance. But you've got to have work-life balance. Folks, Your marriage will be happier for it. Your kids will actually remember you as a mom or a dad.
Yeah.
That's so important. That's way more important. On the family and spiritual side, that's way more important than what you're doing in chiropractic. Even though chiropractic is really important and probably way more important than many other jobs on this planet, it's
Yeah.
not more important than your family.
And think about what do you want on your tombstone? Because you know what? We're all headed there someday.
Pepperoni.
Do good one. Do you want on your headstone, do you want it to say, notice I changed the headstone.
Yeah.
Do you want it to say he was a great doctor and saw patients at 10 p.m. on Saturday night? Or do you want it to start off with he was a kind, loving father, husband, and giver to the community? What sounds better? What's the legacy you want to leave behind? And I'm going to add one more thing in here. And this is a huge pet peeve of mine. I hear doctors say all the time, I can't ever leave the practice. If I leave, my patients will go somewhere. I'll lose all that revenue. If I try to take a vacation, blah, 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 excuse after excuse. Stop. If you don't know how to manage your schedule so you can take a vacation, you better become a client, because seriously, that's crazy. We recommend that doctors should take 1 week a quarter off, 4 weeks a year. Yeah, some of you just passed out, but there's a way to do it and not lose your revenue and maintain your sanity.
Right. And I like the way you said that, because we're not telling you to go to the Caribbean 4 weeks out of the year and spend a bunch of money.
No.
I just took a staycation.
Yeah.
I
Those are
loved
the
it.
best.
I was in my backyard. I got a bunch of stuff done. I went and played some golf every day, but I took a staycation and it was so relaxing and so fun. But doing that once a quarter will keep you from getting burnt out. You know what it also does? It's a benefit to your patients, because you come back with a fire in your belly. You're
Yep.
ready to go.
Yep. And if you have great relationships with your patients, they're going to love it that you're gone, and they're going to want to hear about your trip. And 4 times a year, you should be spending time with your family and your friends and doing those things that entrepreneurs, we got to start thinking like that entrepreneurs do. That's one of the benefits of owning your own business. And if you don't own your own business, that's okay. You still need to be taking time off. Maybe you don't get 4 weeks a year if you're an associate and an employee or something, but take what you can, because that's another one of those things that helps you create work-life balance.
It's a sabbatical and you need it.
Amen. So
Amen.
true. Okay. So the 4 pitfalls that you have to avoid: lack of vision. I'm going to say this a different way. The 4 things you have to do to create success and life balance are: you have to have a vision and goals, attainable goals. You have to know how to manage your time. You cannot neglect professional development for you and your staff. And you have to put an emphasis on creating work-life balance and go out of your way to create it.
And these are all things that you can start doing today. This isn't something
None
out
of
of
it's
your
hard.
reach.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything to do this. They're just things that you have to do to be successful. Every successful entrepreneur, whether it's a chiropractor or otherwise, does these things.
Yep.
They avoid the pitfalls of not following through on those areas. So get with it today. Start following through. And if you need help with it, you need to get a hold of us.
Yeah, get a hold of us. Go to katzconsultants.com if you haven't done so yet. We've got all kinds of great downloads on there. You can see what we're doing with clients. And if you want to schedule a breakthrough call with us, you can jump on my calendar right there on the website. And let's just talk about your practice. We do those for free. And why do we do them? Because our vision at CATS, if you will, our vision is to help more and more doctors develop successful practices so they can take chiropractic to more and more patients. That's our whole goal, is just to help you have a successful practice and help more people enjoy the chiropractic lifestyle. All right, everybody. As always, we appreciate you listening. We're growing like crazy in our podcast. That's because of you guys. So thank you. Be sure to subscribe, share, and tell everybody about the show. And if you have ideas on topics that you want us to talk about, shoot them to Troy at katzconsultants.com. We'd love to get you on the air and talk about you. Not talk about you. Talk about whatever you want us to talk about. We won't even say your name if you don't want us to. All right, everybody. From all of us here at CATS Consultants, thanks for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.